I'm instructor Jennifer Wallace, and this is Custom Self-Defense. And in this video, we're going to talk about pressure points and striking points. What I like to teach my students is to have kind of memorized in a row 5 pressure points or striking points that they can get to in a situation where they're panicking or they're not sure what to do. They're kind of like a go-to striking. And what works, it's usually based off of what works best for them. I will tell you there are 3 that we will always go to when needed, and that's going to be the eyes. If you gouge somebody in the eyes and they can't see you, they're going to have a hard time coming at you. And also, there are very few people, if you gouge their eyes out, it's not going to hurt them, if any at all. So there's a couple different ways to do it. I'm not going to get too in-depth in eye gouging because it's kind of simple, but some people go to the eyes but they don't actually reach the eyes. So you need to make sure when you practice, you are practicing going through the motions and not being sloppy. So some ways you can do, you can just push into the eyes. I like to scoop. We'll get a little closer here. With the eyes, I like to actually scoop from inside, outside with the thumbs. You can press in and down. Okay, if Roger's facing this way, we can do what we call cat strikes. And cat strikes are actually like a pawing down motion like this. They're not a straight in. You can break your fingers if they're completely straight. But it's like if you take the palm of your hand and you place it on your chin and you close your eyes and you let your fingertips kind of fall to your eyes. So they're kind of like a downward motion. Another thing I like to do, I'll use eyes for takedown. So if I'm having a hard time moving the head, if you're tall enough, I will reach and dig my fingers into the eyes to take them down. Okay, eyes are easy. Just make sure you're making contact and you're really pushing on them or digging out with the thumbs. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is you can go to the groin. Now there are some people when you hit them in the groin, especially if they're on drugs or, you know, they're just, some people can just handle that. They're going to keep coming at you, and obviously you're probably going to make them a lot more angry than they were 30 seconds ago. So there's a couple different ways to go to the groin, and I'm going to spare Roger groin strikes. I like to akin it to bowling, so I can bowl to the groin. I can come up underneath and rip up to the groin. I can reach underneath and pull and rip out from the groin. If Roger is turned around and I am behind him and I can get low enough, I can take a ridge hand, what we call a ridge hand. I can come up underneath the groin. I can grab up underneath the groin and rip backwards. I mean, there's a million ways you can hurt somebody in the groin, and, you know, just twisting them, pulling them, anything you can do if that's your life. Those are usually pretty close to a sure bet. The third strike is to the throat. I do not teach regularly going to the throat unless your life is completely in danger, because I do not want students out there punching people in the throat, ripping people's throats out, crushing their larynx because they want the keys to their car. You will go to jail. Especially if they know you have a martial arts background. So we do have to think smart when we are attacking people. Same thing with the eyes. You know, I'm not going to rip somebody's eyes out because they stole my purse. You know, if they're trying to rape me, they're trying to harm my child, they just beat somebody up and they're coming at me and I'm afraid for my life, I'm going to do those brutal types of moves, okay? So throat, I use a lot of times as an emergency measure, especially if I'm inside headlocks on the ground, things that where I can't use techniques that normally would work for me. I'm just in the wrong position or I can't get out. So there's a couple different ways that can go to the throat. Yes, you can, some people teach like a leopard paw, punching to the throat. I'm a big proponent of grabbing the throat. So I like to take my hand like in Kung Fu, we call it like a tiger mouth. And you can test this on yourself lightly. You're going to feel for your trachea right here. It's kind of movable. It's very soft. And I like to dig in right behind there and give it a pinch, okay? And Roger doesn't like it, and I'm being really nice. But if you do it to yourself, you can kind of feel how much pressure it takes to cause that to close up where someone can't breathe or when someone starts choking. And this is something, again, I use in an emergency situation. So that's something I use. I can use it this way. I can use it from an under grip coming in this way. This is something a small child can even do if they grab as hard as possible and really hurt somebody. What you don't want to do is grab the muscle of the neck. You want to actually grab that ridge, that trachea, like where you see the Adam's apple in there. And you can grab higher up, you can grab lower, you can kind of play around with it and see the different feelings so you understand what's going on when you're grabbing there. It's very easy to crush that, and it's very easy. You can actually kill someone doing that, so keep that in mind. You want your life to really be in a position where you have no other choice except for to do that to get out. Odds of you killing someone are probably less than more, but it is a possibility if you're really crushing down in their throat, okay? Because all that can splinter, it can go into the windpipe. I mean, there's so many things that can happen. So those are my 3 strikes. And then you want to think about pressure points. So in my mind, if I'm in a predicament where I can't get out of something, I'm thinking eyes, groin, throat. This is going over in my head. So what I tell my students is have 5 go-to things that you use, either strikes or pressure points that work the most for you, okay? There are tons of pressure points. We call it the 2-inch rule in Kung Fu, all right? So we have pressure points behind the ears. These are great if you do like a vroom vroom, like you're twisting a motorcycle, okay? You're trying to go fast. I'm using my thumbs. It's right in this little pocket behind the ears. If I go 2 inches this way, there are pressure points in here. They go all along the jaw, 2 inches this way, okay? If I go 2 inches down, there's one here. I can go out into the shoulder. They're all over the body. The problem with a lot of these pressure points is a lot of people think they work. And a lot of times when someone has their adrenaline going and they're attacking you, they don't work. So you need to decide what are the easiest ones for you to get to and put them in your arsenal of 5 things that work the best for you so that you can run through your head and deploy these things in a situation when you feel like you're panicking and you can't find anything else. Another one that I like is horse bites. If you're not familiar with a horse bite, you want to go more to the inside of the arm. Works really good on the inside of the thigh or the back of the leg. If they're really muscular, sometimes it's hard to get to, especially if they're squatting or doing something like that. But a horse bite basically grabs the skin in between the hand and pinches it, okay? And it can be very painful. When you practice, be nice to your opponent. But it's a good one to use here, makes them jump. Sometimes all you need is somebody to jump, okay? If I'm on the ground, Roger's down here. So say he's choking me, and he's not going to choke me hard so I can speak right now if he's lower. So I can use those thumbs on the ears. Sometimes he'll get up. I can use pressure points in here. Sometimes I'll get up. I can use pressure points in the armpit. Sometimes he'll get up. There's all different kinds of pressure points. But sometimes you'll be digging in as hard as you possibly can, and he won't get up. And I don't have time to go through a bunch of stuff that doesn't work all the time. So it's very important that your partner fights you when you're trying these things so you can see what can he or multiple partners, what can they grit through on a regular basis. I find these in the ears, I used to use all the time. Probably 50% of guys, when they're really trying to hold you down in even just a controlled environment, they don't go up. So I don't use them anymore, okay? You can use underneath the septum. That's one that works fairly frequently if you can get to it. You can also use, again, here I can use the throat, all right? Or, in this case, Roger sits up, the hollow, okay? Turn this way. So the hollow of the throat is this little circle right here. And if you take your finger, middle finger, or both your pointer and your middle finger, and you push in and dig down, sorry, okay, it's not very comfortable. Or if you push back, it's not very comfortable. nipple. So those are other ways. A lot of other things you can do that are just kind of against the ordinary. I can squeeze and pinch the side of the stomach. A lot of people jump. You know, if you do it all the time, that might be able to fight through it, but if you're not used to it, so sometimes that's a way you can get up. And the really not nice one, I know it sounds horrible, is to pinch the nipples, okay? Now he's up, I can kick him, I can push him off me, okay? And then I can get up on my feet. And it depends on the situation here. So you gotta think dirty, sometimes you gotta think nasty, but you really gotta run through your head, what are things that I can do? And as you go through my videos, when I start teaching more regular techniques, you'll see that I throw in all kinds of pointers and different pressure points and things that you can do. But you know, if I'm stuck on the ground wrestling with somebody and I can get to their side and I can just grab a big chunk and pinch them and twist their skin, and that makes them jump off of me enough for me to get a leg in or a hand in or a fist in or whatever I gotta do, then it's done its job. So again, pick the 5 things that work best for you, whatever they might be, and run them through your head. You know, for me, it might be eyes, groin, throat, pinching, horse fights, hollow of the throat. I mean, pick 5 that you know you can always go to. Or make your list longer and just run through those when you're in scenarios when you get stuck and things aren't working the way you want them to, and see if those help you get out of those situations. My name is Jennifer Wallace, and this is Custom Self-Defense, and I hope you enjoy this video.